All right. A Another Celtics loss. I'd say another like the last game they lost. They didn't. They just didn't play well against the Cavs. But it felt almost like a loss because the Cavs suck and the Celtics didn't play particularly well. But this one, not as nearly as frustrating, obviously, as that loss the other day to the Nets, where the team just gave up. But it did feel like the Celtics were never really in this game from a engagement standpoint. I mean, Marcus Smart was because he always is, and he's always at an 11. But everybody else seemed to sort of sleepwalk through this game. Culprit number one was probably Jayson Tatum, who, with an injured lineup and no Gordon Hayward and no Jaylen Brown, should have amounted for more than the 18 points he finished with. I mean, he finished 7 of 19 with a plus 12, and on paper that looks good, but for a team that was getting very little offense, I mean, Marcus Smart was your leading scorer with 29. It just goes to show you how little offense they were getting. Tatum really needed to take over this game offensively, and he didn't. Like I said, he sort of sleptwalked through the game. I don't think he had a bad game by any means, but you needed more out of him, and that's why I've been hesitant, and I think some other people have been hesitant to say he's there, he's a superstar, because being a superstar in the NBA, and Tatum I think will get there, is about the biggest part, the last part of that isn't just having the skill and being able to put up 30 or 40 on a given night. It's being able to do that consistently. And when you're in the towards the tail end of the season in game 60 through 65, 66, 67, still being able to come and bring it on a night where your team is a little bit flat and carry them and carry the load offensively. And Tatum didn't do that tonight. Again, not a bad game, but that's sort of the last leap he needs to take in order to be, in my mind, considered a superstar talent in this league. And I do think he'll get there. Just I think tonight was a good example of why I don't believe he's there quite yet. Kemba Walker didn't look right tonight. Didn't shoot well. I know he was on a minutes restriction, but he still looks gimpy or disengaged or something's up with him. He's not 100%. Didn't seem to be his usual self where he's like constantly smiling, enjoying the game. So either he's in pain or something's going on behind the scenes. I would guess it's the former. I haven't heard anything about him being upset with anybody, but he didn't look good tonight. The offense overall, I mean, outside of Marcus Smart, again, didn't really look right. Everybody looked pretty sluggish. They had defensively in the second half, they were terrific. In the first half, the Celtics had no answer for the pick and roll and could not stop Rudy Gobert at the rim whatsoever. They inserted Robert Williams into the game. I think he did a nice job. It may not show up in the stat sheet all that much. He didn't have a great plus minus, but I really liked how engaged he was on the defensive end. His athleticism and his intensity defending the paint, defending the rim is something the Celtics don't have, and it could be really valuable in the playoffs. He needs to have a healthy rest of the regular season, though, for him to be able to be a factor in the playoffs, because he just needs more and more experience under his belt. Had a couple nice shot blocks, a couple of alterations of shots. I think he is very good at rotating in paint. He can still get better at it, and he's a very solid defensive rebounder too. So I like what I saw from Robert Williams tonight. Again, statistics and box scores are deceptive unless you watch the whole game. But overall, like I said in the tweet, I'm a little concerned about this stretch for the Celtics. Coming off of such a great Western Conference road trip where they really, really looked good and they almost swept the whole thing, save for a game in LA that LeBron hit, a miracle turnaround fadeaway over Jaylen Brown to win that game in LA. They won every game besides that. And then they come home and they have that just disaster, just epic clusterfuck of a game against the Nets earlier in the week. And then they weren't very inspiring in their win over Cleveland. And then tonight also not particularly impressive. And up till tonight, what the Celtics defense has been doing was a lot of one person just dominate and take over the game. That's never really happened that much to them, save for the Giannis's and LeBrons. And they were letting, especially guards, get to the rim at will and put up 40, 50 points. And that ended a little bit tonight, but the defense looked better, but then the offense shut down. So they haven't played a good, complete game since the end of that West Coast trip. Coming up for the Celtics, the rest of the couple games, Let's just take a look at their schedule here real quick. They play again on Sunday against Oklahoma City at home, and then 2 tough games on the road at Indiana and at Milwaukee. So the Celtics, I've talked about this the past few live streams. They need to be keeping pace with the Raptors here. The Raptors are ahead of them. Celtics can't be dropping games, and they can't be coming into these games disengaged and flat, because that 2 seed and that 3 seed could be the difference to getting to the Eastern Conference Finals and potentially getting to the NBA Finals. Because once you get to the Eastern Conference Finals, who knows what can happen. But the Celtics need that 2 seed, and the Raptors know they need it too. And if the Celtics come into games like this and are flat offensively, or they go into games like they did against Brooklyn and then play terrible defense in the second half, they're not going to be able to get that 2 seed, and they will end the season exactly where it ended last year, where everybody said it was the worst season ever. Oh, screw the Celtics, and they lost in the second round. So I would expect the same reaction this year. If they disappoint and lose in the second round, you can point to games and nights like this and say, man, if only they had that 2 seed. We'll see going forward. It's going to be a tough 2-game stretch, and we'll talk after those games. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe and comment or whatever, whatever pleases you, whatever makes you happy. All right, I'll talk to you at the end of the next game. See ya.